Will an AI take your job? It's the question that's on pretty much everyone's mind these days. And according to some really eye-opening new research from Microsoft, the answer for a whole lot of us might be coming way sooner than we think. We're about to dive into the 40 jobs that are most likely to be disrupted by AI, all based on their findings.
I mean, just think about it for a second. We're talking about 2026. That's not some far-off sci-fi future. It's right around the corner. AI is already here, and it's actively changing how we work. So the big question really is your career on the list of roles that AI is going to impact first?
And look, this isn't just some random speculation. When you have pioneers like Geoffrey Hinton, literally called the godfather of AI, and Microsoft's own CEO Satya Nadella, both saying the same thing, you've got to listen. These are the people at the absolute forefront of the technology, and they're telling us a major shift in the job market isn't coming, it's already happening.
So you might be wondering, where exactly is this list coming from? Well, it's all based on a recent, incredibly detailed study by Microsoft. And what's so important here is that they didn't just guess. They dug into a massive amount of real-world data to see how AI is actually being used on the job today.
And when I say massive, I mean it. The study looked at over 200,000 real, live interactions with Microsoft's own Copilot AI. This gave the researchers a super clear picture of which tasks AI is really good at, and from there, you can see which jobs are made up of those exact same tasks.
To make sense of all this data, they came up with a really clever metric called the AI Applicability score. It's a pretty simple idea, but it's powerful. It's basically a score that measures how well AI can already do the main duties of a particular job. So the higher the score, well, the more vulnerable that job is.
Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of all 40 jobs, the study pointed to a really clear pattern. There's a common thread, a link between all the most at-risk professions, and understanding this is key to understanding the whole shift that's happening.
Okay, so here's the big takeaway. This isn't about robots on an assembly line. The jobs most at risk right now are the ones that rely on language, on deep analysis, and on processing huge amounts of information. I mean, think about that. For decades, those have been the core skills of what we call knowledge work.
All right, the moment you've been waiting for. Let's get to the list. Here are the 40 jobs that Microsoft's research flagged as having the highest risk of disruption. We've broken them down into 4 main categories to really show you the patterns.
First up, a category that probably won't surprise anyone. It's all about communication, media, and writing. If your job is fundamentally about creating messages and sharing information, you should know that AI has gotten incredibly good at doing just that.
Let's look at the jobs here. Of course, you see roles like writers, editors, and proofreaders. That makes sense. But it also includes news analysts, journalists, and translators, jobs that are all about finding and reframing information. We've even got public relations specialists and broadcast announcers on the list. The bottom line is, if your final product is made of words, AI is a major new player on the field.
Okay, the next group is all about roles that need deep expertise and serious analytical skills. We're talking about jobs that involve digging through data, finding patterns, and teaching really complex ideas.
And this is where you can really see the power of modern AI. The list has mathematicians, data scientists, and market research analysts, jobs built on finding the signal in the noise. But what's fascinating is that right alongside them are historians, political scientists, and geographers, plus teachers in economics and library science. It just shows you that AI's ability to absorb and synthesize entire libraries of information is changing these fields in a big way.
Our third category covers so many of the jobs that are really the backbone of countless businesses. These are the administrative and customer-facing roles that are all about scheduling, communicating, and managing how a company interacts with its clients. I mean, we've all interacted with the chatbot, right? Well, this list shows exactly why they're popping up everywhere. We're talking about customer service reps, telemarketers, and even public safety telecommunicators. But it's also positions like ticket agents, travel clerks, and concierge. Basically, any job that follows a structured, information-based conversation is seeing a massive impact from AI. And now for our final category, which is a really interesting mix. This group shows that AI's reach goes way beyond just writing and data, into some highly specialized and technical fields that a lot of people probably thought were safe. It proves just how broad this disruption really is. This is where you see some real surprises. Web developers are on the list because AI can now write and fix code like you wouldn't believe. But get this, so are CNC tool programmers, the people who write instructions for heavy manufacturing machines.
Even models are listed, which is almost certainly because of how realistic AI-generated images have become. And the list also includes personal financial advisors and management analysts. It just proves that no sector is going to be completely untouched. So, there you have it. We've looked at the data, we've gone through the 40 jobs that the research pointed to. That's the what. But the really big question now is, so what? What does all of this mean for the future of work? And, what does it mean for you?
At the end of the day, this research isn't some warning about the distant future. It's a snapshot of a change that's happening right now. The very skills that we've built our careers on are being fundamentally redefined by AI. The key takeaway here shouldn't be fear, it should be awareness. The ground is shifting under our feet, and so the most important question isn't if your job will change, but how you're going to adapt when it does.